Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Reagan, and I'm with the Department of Wellness. And with me today, I have two very special guests, Garrett and Bella, who will be joining me for a discussion over the importance of extracurriculars during college. But before we dive into that conversation, I'd like to start by having you both share a little bit about yourself, what you do here on campus, and just your backstory on what brought you here to OSU. Garrett, would you like to start us off?
Of course. Thank you for having me. My name is Garrett Hargrove. I currently serve as the coordinator of the Student Union Activities Board here at Oklahoma State. However, I first came on campus in 2016 when I took a tour in the spring of 2016 and absolutely fell in love with it. So then I decided to come here for my undergrad degree. I worked on and off campus for a few more years and then came back, started my role, and recently completed my master's in higher education.
Amazing. What about you, Bella?
Thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Bella Ridener. I'm a current student, a junior, going into my junior year, and my major is psychology, pursuing my undergrad in that. A little bit about me: I'm a Student Government Association mental health director, so I do a lot of work on campus for mental health, and with that, I do the Office of the President internship, and which is basically focused on mental health and the initiatives that the HESs have going forward for mental health. It's a really great experience. I'm so thankful for. And other than that, I'm involved in a sorority, so I do stuff with homecoming and all that jazz. It's a really fun time. I'm super excited for. And psychology club exec, I get involved there. What brought me to OSU initially is really my family, my grandparents, my parents, my aunts, uncles, tons of cousins. I literally see a cousin probably once a week on campus. It's kind of hilarious. But they all brought me here. I think OSU just has so many roots for me, so it's so great to be here and be able to experience it.
Amazing. I love that. What future plans do you have after undergrad, Bella?
I want to get my master's in business and hopefully a PhD eventually. I would want to go into higher ed maybe or business. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see where the road takes me.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for sharing. If you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started with our questions. Can either one of you, can you tell us about your own involvement in extracurricular activities either now or in the past and what that kind of looked like for you?
So I am in a sorority, which is a lot of leadership roles itself. I balance that along with SGA. I was junior Greek leadership coordinator last year, a College of Arts and Sciences ambassador for a little bit. I had to eventually learn to say no to a lot of things, which was a big learning
Yes.
point for me this
Yes,
year.
it is.
But yeah, learning to balance that was definitely a learning curve throughout my sophomore year. But going into my junior year, I'm going to be prepared to step back a little bit.
I feel like it's awesome that you're able to recognize that now because I know for me, it took me a long time as well to kind of realize when I need to step back and when I also need to say no to certain activities. So it's awesome that you're able to set those boundaries now. What about you, Garrett?
Yeah, so actually, I started the moment I got on campus. And so I moved in early as a part of kind of like a leadership development conference with Res Life. Then became a community mentor, is what they were called at the time. And then kind of just moved on to solely Camp Cowboy. So throughout those 2 years, I was involved in Camp Cowboy and then kept volunteering. And summer before my senior year, I decided to become a Camp Cowboy director. And then, of course, now I work as a full time staff member, but my whole job is kind of within an extracurricular organization.
Both very busy people. So, through both of y'all's involvement here on campus, do you think it has allowed you to kind of build that sense of community and get connected to peers here on campus?
For sure. I would say for me, I think it brought me the community right when I stepped in the doors freshman year. I was kind of forced to be around people, which for me, it's natural to be comfortable around that. But for a lot of people, I realized it wasn't. So I tried to approach those people and make that community that wasn't reaching out and just kind of encourage others to get involved too, because I think that's what brought me my initial community. So it was cool to see the transition that happened between myself learning that I needed to be around people and how to bring other people into that scenario as well.
Pretty similarly for me as well. The people I met within the organizations in undergrad ended up becoming very good friends, roommates, some of my best friends to this day. And then even currently, like the people I've been able to make connections with in the community I have on campus as a staff member are also some of the people that I spend a lot of time with outside of work.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Jordan about that, our media producer. I was not the best at getting involved during undergrad. I think I found my place whenever I became a group fitness instructor at the Colvin, and so that's kind of where I started getting involved, and that was my extracurricular. Also, my podium that allowed me the opportunity to kind of just express myself, and it was something I was passionate about. So there are definitely different ways that everyone can get involved in here on campus. Have you seen or experienced examples of where joining a club or a team has helped someone feel more connected here on campus?
Yeah, I think a lot of the students that I've had join SWAB, especially our executive board, I've seen stay for several years, make some very, very deep connections, roommates, sometimes partners, and friendships for life. And to the point where I've got students who have graduated, 2, 3, 4 years ago who end up coming back to still see those people, say hi, and also see the impact that our work is making on campus.
Amazing. What about you, Bella?
For me, I saw a lot through junior Greek leadership where I was pouring into those freshmen and encouraging them to get involved and just really being like, here's the clubs that OSU has to offer, extracurriculars. Here's the ways you can join them. And so seeing them get initially involved and being around like minded people who were getting involved, it was really cool to see how much they excelled in their freshman year specifically. And being on that side of it was really cool because I had been on that side of it previously. I was a freshman that was in junior Greek leadership, being encouraged to apply. And so being able to be that person that I got my freshman year was really a really good experience.
I love that. Bella, earlier you kind of talked about how you've been too involved and now you're learning kind of how to take a step back and when to say no to certain tasks that you just physically and mentally, emotionally cannot do. Can being too involved ever add to the stress that a student may already be experiencing? And how can students find a healthy balance?
For sure. I think there is so much to go, and especially as freshman and sophomore year, you are learning how to time manage as a college student. So I think a lot of it just figuring out what works for you, what you can handle. Personally, I thrive when I'm busy, so I knew that I needed to be busy to be able to have that college experience and make myself thrive. But I think it can get a lot for people. And I think it's just learning to surround yourself with the people that will make you realize, okay, I need to take a step back right now, or okay, it's okay to go do something myself, go on a walk by myself to give myself this time and space to just breathe for a second. So, yeah.
Garrett, you oversee a lot of students within your department. Have you ever experienced your students overdoing it? How do they cope with that?
100% I have. I feel like I have to have that conversation almost weekly at some points with students.
Mhm.
I think the big thing is just kind of like Bella said, having them have a to-do list or a calendar and then really focusing on their time management and prioritization. Kind of just being able to take a step back, reflect on everything that they're doing, and also understanding it's okay to take a step back from specific things at times, and also being willing to have those hard conversations with friends or with other student organizations they're in, and just having that conversation of like, hey, this semester I've got a really heavy course load, a really heavy workload outside of this org, so I need to take a step back, but hopefully I'll be able to be there in the future.
Awesome. From your perspective, what are the biggest mental health benefits of participating in extracurriculars here on campus?
I think the biggest one I see is really just community and having that sense of belonging, building those relationships, networking, and also having people you can rely on when you maybe are having tough times, people you can talk to, reach out to for help. And of course, the bigger your network is, the more people you know, the more resources you have available to you.
I totally agree with Garrett. He has a great perspective on just the community you surround yourself with really just brings you that purpose. And that's where I would go from there. It's just like the purpose that these extracurriculars give you, especially as a freshman, you feel like you're integrated in this community. So you have a purpose that helps you towards your mental health and encourages you to figure out about those resources, which is what led me to being curious about mental health to begin with.
Yeah. So if a student is wanting to try something new, but they're not quite sure how to get out there, what tips do you have for them to help them get involved?
Personally, I would just ask around. Like, honestly, just ask in classes anything. Just check in with those around me and just see what they're going to. See if you can have a buddy to go with you. And if you can't, then that's great. Show up. Showing up is the biggest part. I feel like it's just throwing yourself in there and just realizing, okay, I can do this. And so, therefore, you want to do it again and get more involved and, yeah, bring people with you next time.
Kind of wrapping things up here, what is one takeaway that you would want listeners to remember about the connection between extracurriculars and mental health?
I think how they connect for me at least is just again putting yourself in that position to thrive and realizing what you need to succeed. So for me, that looked like stepping away and taking the time to myself. For me, it's the gym. I need to go and be and make myself well for a little bit just so I can feel that sense of just like refueling myself. It's really hard to have those times in college to like really take a step back and realize, okay, process what's going on in my life right now. Where do I need to pour my time into? Where do I need to step away? Mental health can be a huge thing for students at Oklahoma State, at any college campus. So I think that's always been a passion of mine, is to figure out how I can get involved in mental health. That's why I get involved in a lot of things in psychology. That's why my major is psychology. I really have a passion for it. And I think showing up is the biggest part. You're always put on a tight schedule in college. You want to make sure you are putting yourself in the things that are making you feel most fulfilled and whatnot.
For me, the connection really helped me to understand where my passions lied and also helped me find purpose within the work I was doing. And so the activities I was involved with and the people that I met on campus and within those extracurriculars really just helped me figure out what I wanted to do for a living and how I wanted to make an impact on others, not only on campus, but also in my community.
Awesome, Garrett. Thank you all for tuning in today. A big thank you to both Garrett and Bella for sharing their time, their insights and experiences with us. Until next time, take care, stay well, and go Pokes.